Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Island Church Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Lombardi. I can say my own name, I swear. Joined, as always, by Pastor Will McRaney. How you doing today, Pastor Will?
I'm doing well. My name's a little shorter with Will. I can probably handle that this morning.
You would think I've been saying it my whole life, but apparently I haven't. So, well, Pastor Will, tell us a little bit about Sunday and this weekend at the church. How was this past weekend?
Well, Matt, this past week was our first week back to have two services. We were at capacity, and then we have people that are coming back around. And actually, generally in a church service, in terms of you thinking about that, once a church gets to about 80% full, then it's considered full because people actually stop inviting people that it's full. And it's good to be there, but we needed to provide an additional option. So we started, or we transformed the 8:45 time to a second service. So we had an 8:45 service and a 10 o'clock service. Kind of rainy and dreary. Thought it just might be me and Sandy and the tech guys, but tech crew. That's not true at all. Actually had a good crowd that morning. And hopefully just really since actually God's Spirit there. It was a good service. Both services were really good this week. And then on Sunday night, we had Momentum, which is kind of we do about once a month for our newer people that are listening. About 10 times a year, we have a little light something to eat, usually something fun.
Yeah.
And then we about 6 o'clock, I show slides over things that have happened the last month, and we tell some stories. And then we kind of actually, in a very informal, almost a popcorn kind of way, it's a little more structured than that, but just hear from people as to what God's doing in various ministries. And it's really encouraging time. This past week, we probably had 25 people, 25 people that actually spoke just from their seat with hand them a mic, and so everyone could hear, and just the things that God's doing. And it's amazing in our church on this island, this much is happening in terms of ministry to people. So it was a really encouraging Sunday. So it was good day.
Awesome. Well, what are some
Oh,
things
I mentioned the chili. Oh yeah, the chili was good at 5:15.
Oh, Chili's always
The chili,
good. Chili's always
it's just it's a fun time. It's one of the most fun times that we have in church, and so I just encourage you, if you've not attended, someone's not attended, just come right on in. It's a good time.
Yeah, well, and in Florida, we have about 1.5 months out of the year where it's actually weather appropriate to eat chili. And now I eat it all year long. It's always delicious, but it only feels right for about a month and a half. So you gotta get it in while you can.
Got to get it in. That's what we're working on it, man.
Awesome. Well, Pastor Will, help us understand what's coming up in the life of the church. What are some things folks need to know about on the calendar?
Well, we've actually started a new group this week. Sandy and I relaunched a group. And so that's another life group that's going. We've had Grief Share, which has been a new ministry for our church, and Terry Nesbitt has been given leadership to that. He's put together a team, and that's just really always going to be a need out on the island. It's actually very Christ-based, very church-based, has to be connected to a church, actually. And so just appreciate Terry's leadership there and each of the people that are helping her pull that off. And so that happens every week on Tuesdays. And the women's group is going super with Sandy. I think they had about 30 women, 29 women last week. And we've got the men's group going on Tuesday at lunch. And so just lots of things that are just continuing. I anticipate in the next several weeks, we haven't got an exact date, but that Sandy and I will begin leading something on marriage enrichment, whether you've been married 5 weeks, 5 years, 50 years. And so we're looking forward to this, and it's a way to reach out into our community. Plus, have a ministry to our church family as well. So that's kind of the group stuff's going on. Now, the calendar keeps coming every year around Easter, and so this year we've got actually Easter at the end of March. So that gives us two major events that we have in the life of our church. One's Easter egg hunt down here at the park, just south of us, and then the sunrise service. And so we're already making preparations. I know you've been working on some design pieces, right? Yes,
Absolutely. We're getting ready.
We want to get all them kiddos out and make them aware of what we're going on, and then invite them to the sunrise service. 6:45 this year. It's a little bit later sunrise because it's earlier in the calendar year. So 6:45, 6:30 last year, but 6:45. So we got that going. We're making all preparations for that. And then there's just lots of opportunities for our people to get connected in terms of what's going on, people to get connected into membership, into a life group, and to serving. Of course, membership just is we covenant together. We want to grow in our faith. And there's nothing magical about membership, but it's a requirement to be a member, to renew that commitment actually every year. And it's just a reaffirming, I think that's the word we use. And so
Yep.
whether a person's new for the first time or reaffirming it, we want to say we're all together going to this year commit to walk with God together and see His kingdom advance. So that's kind of what's going on. It's a lot of good opportunities. So people just can step right in. You know, when you serve and when you get connected with a life group and you attend some of these things like Momentum, that's where you really get to know people. And so we're really thankful for all the guests that we've had and so the returning guests that we've had. But I would encourage you, if you're watching today, that if you're not connected to one of those things, then, or more of those things, just get connected. That's where you get the most, have the most fun,
Absolutely.
and get the most out of it. So,
Absolutely. Well, it is definitely the best place to make, big church Sunday morning. Everyone's in a rush sometimes on Sunday. It can be easy just to be out the door and off to lunch or off to the next thing. And it's that time where you get to slow down, get to know people, have conversations, really start to make that bigger church environment feel small and feel like, hey, this is my community. This is where I can get plugged in. So yeah, I would just echo that. That's such a great way to get plugged in. There are tons of different ways, and everyone comes in kind of a different place in their spiritual walk. Some people just want to serve and just dive right in. Some people want to just belong and kind of be part of a community of people. So no matter where you are, there's always a great next step for you. And Pastor Will, if folks are watching this today and they're saying, okay, I want to be praying for the church, what's one way this week that you would have them pray for the church?
Well, that's always a good question, Matt. And we certainly have people with individual physical needs and various types of needs in their life, and so we're always caring for one another on a personal level. But this week we actually got additional meetings. We're going to have one, I believe, actually tomorrow with our building expansion, which is really just for our mission expansion. It's not about the building; it's about the mission. And so we're meeting with them again to refine the plans. We're still trying to secure a little extra land, but we're planning as if we're not going to have land. So they can just pray with us about that. I mean, this is God's timing, but we're thinking about how do we bridge for the future. We think about the next generation, and it's just amazing how far a lot of our young people are from the local church and from an understanding of the one true living God. And the way we certainly want to be a lighthouse. We don't want to just serve our people. We're not just a club, obviously, but we want to be a ministry tool and a ministry. God's hands at His feet right here in Tierra Verde and the surrounding areas. And so we're going to have that meeting this week, but we're already doing all kinds of things in our building. We opened up to the community. There was a group in here last night, 2 groups in here last night from the community. Yeah. So we do everything that we're doing. So it's not like we're just going to get started, but they can just pray with us that God would give us favor and give us wisdom as we work with the architect and as we work with the real estate person trying to secure at least a part of a piece of land here connected to us. So they can pray about that. Yeah. It's all about ministry, about people, right? And so we just want to help people get connected. And so many people are newer. If you've been here a while, look around, find someone that you don't know, greet them, say a word. They're wondering, if you're normal or not. So just engage with them. And people, they come, they're looking for something. We've had people stop in off the street, just out here in the area. Actually, last week that did complete disconnect from our church. Just want to learn about our church and walk in the door. So
that's great.
You're doing a great job for us, Matt, helping us with the communications. We're texting, we're website. We've got all manner of stuff. I mean, I could give a list as you could, very long list, but thank you for helping us and appreciate you and your role and all that Stacey's doing out here as well. So
thank you. Well, thank you if you're watching for being with us today. It is always great to have folks wanting to plug into the church more, wanting to hear what's going on and staying updated on the life of the church. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, this is always someone's first episode. So please do subscribe to it. It's the best way to stay up to date with everything that's happening. If you are looking for what's coming up, maybe miss some of the details, you can always go check out islandchurchtv.com and go under the events section, and you will see all of the upcoming events happening at the church. So Pastor Will, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your heart and what's going on at the church. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt.